up, came out, feel like going home now. Now, now, fails and turns to luck, words aren't making it.
Hey all, Namaste. So the motivational class I want to share with you all today is about meeting someone in the wrong time. They can be anybody. Do not take especially for boyfriends and girlfriends. It can be also for well-wishers. It can also be your best buddies or friends. Or they can be your neighbors also. Or they can be your relatives too. Do not apply this concept especially only for, lovers or boyfriends or girlfriends. Okay. So, let's go. I'll give you some examples. We'll meet that particular person who is really attractive, but we'll come to know that that particular person is already taken by somebody else. And we will meet that attractive person who is almost equal with all our likes and dislikes, but we'll find that that person is not going to stay with us anymore. They're moving to abroad soon, in a month or a year. Now we'll meet that beautiful soul where we will not be able to continue the relation because either of the families will be in trouble, or there will be hard work only from a single partner. Now, do you think these all things are happening because you met this particular person who is attractive, charming, who is equal to your likes and dislikes, whom you really feel that soul connected? Do you really think you felt this particular person in the wrong time? No. You don't meet the wrong people in the right time. You will meet the wrong people in the wrong time. Yes, I'll highlight it one more time. You do not meet the right person in the wrong time. You will meet the wrong person in the wrong time. Highlight it with a highlighter and underline it. Speak it louder for some 10 to 15 times. You'll understand what I said to you all. Because the right person is timeless. Time is really a bitch. But you cannot make some things granted. You have to accept them and let the time go. Like elder people always tell us that give some time, it'll be alright. And that is true. You have to give some time and make this thing highlighted and tell to all those people who are thinking that they met the right person in the wrong time. You just tell them, no, you don't meet right person in the wrong time. You will meet only the wrong person in the wrong time. Clear? So who and all are staying with that negativity of this? Just take it all from your minds. Make it literally clear. Spend some time with you. The spending some time with yourself is really an awesome way of understanding yourself. Like, have some coffee early in the morning, sitting in the sunshine, looking at some beautiful greenery that is present around you, or stay through your window, or just go for an evening walk, listen some beautiful melodious songs. And if you're a lovely singer, try to sing. There are lovely apps available these days. Sing louder. And if you're a dancer, keep that headset on and just dance whatever you like. Whether it is awkward, just do not mind, just dance. Do not sit in vain. Do not think about that particular wrong person. And do not blame your time. Time is really good thing. It will not play with you. It will just give an information that you are blaming yourself for no reason. So, I always tell you this, as I explain all the slokas in Ayurveda: be strong, be bold, be positive, cheer up, and let's go to the class. So, as we discussed about 3 procedures in Dinacharya last time, about those 3 procedures I'm going to explain you all bit deeper. Last time I just said you all a basic picture about those 3 procedures. Now I just want to tell bit deeper about those particular 3 procedures. Along with that, I'll tell you all about Nasya also. Clear? Now I'll just give you all those few important points which are really impressive, and few points we really do not know because we just studied the basic version of Ashtanga Hridaya about Dinacharya. Okay, so now this is the PPT which I personally prepared, and I am going to show it all in this particular video. If possible, try to note it down. Okay, so the first one is all about Brahmi Muhurta. Now Brahmi Muhurta is that particular thing which I already said you all. So in that Brahmi Muhurta, what Arunadatta really tells us that Ratro Chaturdasho Muhurto Brahmi Muhurta. We just discussed that waking up early in the morning and sitting calm, it is the best time for Adhyayana, all those things. But what is actually the Muhurta is explained as what he said here: Ratro Chaturdasho Muhurto Brahmi Muhurta. If we take Muhurta into consideration, Muhurta's time, and the 14th Muhurta Kala of that night is called Brahmi Muhurta. If we count it approximately, it will come around 4 a.m. I just said you all last class itself. So this is a particular reference for that particular explanation of Ratro Chaturdasho Muhurto Brahmi Muhurta. Clear? So this is said by Arunadatta. Now what about Dantadavana? So Dantadavana we all studied, we use various drugs for brushing our teeth. The special points in this we lagged last time was about the procedure how we'll brush. Dantan Purva Madhyo Gharshet Prata. So when we get up early in the morning, we will just, you can see in that particular screen how we have to make the brush. Danta Kashta, how we can crush and make it fine or soft so that we can brush our teeth. And there are particular procedures that are explained in Ashtanga Hridaya. Purva and Madhya, that is backward and lateral sides we have to brush. Clear? So like this and like this. So those are the particular procedures that are explained. Now about the rasas of the Danta Kashta, like we just discussed last time, that especially there are 3 rasas which are taken into consideration. One is Katu, another is Kashaya, another one is Tikta. So the available products which we can use for this particular thing is Nimba, which is Tikta Rasa Pradhana, Khadira is Kashaya Rasa Pradhana, and Karanja is Katu Rasa Pradhana. According to the condition of those particular Dantagata Rogas, we can opt among any of these 3 rasas and we can use it as Danta Kashta. Clear? Now Jihva Nirlekana. So last time we just said about this particular concept called brushing, and we did not discuss much about Jihva Nirlekana, but I want to tell you all because it is explained in Sushruta. I didn't discuss it last time because I mentioned this particular thing called Ashtanga Hridayas Vagbhatas concept. But I want to tell you all that Dinacharya is mentioned about various procedures in that particular classics. So I don't want to miss any points which are present in the classics. So about Jihva Nirlekana, I want to tell that Jihva Nirlekanam Raupyam Sauvarnyam Vakshyam Evacha Tanu Malapaharam Shastram Mrudus Laksham Dashangulam. So it's all about the explanation of tongue scraping. Immediately after brushing, we have to do tongue scraping. It is also called as Jihva Nirlekani, and the metals we generally use are silver, gold or iron. Okay, it must be soft and slender, and the length must be 10 angulas. What they said here, Raupium is silver, Savarnyam is gold, Vanksham is iron. Clear? And Tanu Malapaharam, that is, it must be slender, and Malapaharam is it must be able to scrape all the plaque that is present on our tongue. If it is slender, then only it will be possible. Clear? Mrudus Lakshanam Dashangulam. So it must be soft, slender, and it must be Dashangulas in length. Clear? This is about Jihva Nirlekani. And what are the benefits? We all know it. It's very simple. It clears the bad odor of oral cavity. It removes the bad taste, and it cures the edema present in the gums. Or if we have any mouth ulcerations or anything present on the tongue, it can be clearly washed out by Jihva Nirlekana. And there is a special thing called Anjana. We just missed some points in Anjana last time. The instrument which we apply Anjana is called Shalaka. Clear? And the application of collyrium must be done from medial canthus to the lateral canthus. That is from this one to this one. Clear? And there are three types of materials generally we use for Anjana. One is the pill form. Okay, we'll make it in the pill form and we'll rub it on the canthus. And we can apply it in the semi-solid form or jelly form, and we can use the churna form also. And if at all we applied Anjana and when it becomes too much Tikshna, there is the counteracting procedure for that Anjana, which is called as Prasada Anjana. Generally people do not know about it much, so I'm mentioning this point also, which is a rejuvenating Anjana procedure. And Shalaka is this one, like I'm showing it at the screen. It will be thin and long. It will have a bud in front so that we can easily apply that particular material which we are using as collyrium, and we can apply it on the canthus nicely. Okay, so it is generally also the shangula in length. It will be thin in the middle, and the tip will be resembling a flower bud. Clear? It will be resembling a flower bud. Now this particular concept of classification is mentioned for Anjana. Charaka explained that two types, Saviranjana and Rasanjana. Shishruta explained Prasananjana, Lekana, Prasadana, Lekana and Ropana. Vagbhata explained Prasadana, Lekana and Ropana. Clear? Differences or the classification of Anjana is very important, because Dinacharya, generally when you write about the procedures, you have to write about the types at any cost. You cannot miss that particular point, because it is a knowledge check for you all. When an examiner corrects your paper, these are the main things that he'll observe in that particular paper. When you're mentioning the types, there will be some extra points added. Clear? So those generally, see, we'll have this pill form, and we'll have this gel form, and we'll have this churna form. For in Anjana, it is pill and gel and powder form. In pill form, when you have you want to do it more like Tikshna, it can be 1 harinu, and if you want to do it Mrudu Anjana, we can do it, take it 2 harinu. 1 harinu is equal to 40 milligrams, and 2 harinu is double of that. Clear? And for Rasakriya or gel, we can take the Vella quantity of applying of the Anjana Kriya. Clear? That is equal to 20 milligram. And Churna form, they'll explain you in the quantity of the rods, how many rods full we have to take it. Clear? They're telling that For strong Tikshna application, you have to go for 2 rods full, and for Mridu, you have to take 3 rods full. These are the doses generally they mention. I am giving you for a idea, so that you will not feel like we missed this particular topic of explanation. So Nasya is all about the installation of drops in the nose, or when a medication is sent to the Nasa Dwara, then it is called Nasya. We can call it as Navana also, explained it in the last class. Now the definition given for this particular concept of Nasya is Nasayam Bhavam Nasyam, through where we will give the medication, it is through the nose. Now it is called as Nasya. Aushadam Aushada Siddham Nasayam Dhyate iti Nasya. So Aushadam, like any medication you can give, and when Aushada Siddham, or when it is mixed with various formulations, or direct a single drug, or when it is mixed with various formulations, where we'll give it through the nose, it is called as Nasya. These are the two definitions that you pause it, sit for some few seconds and note it down. Once you by heart it, it will be easy for you people. So Nasya is explained by like the compilation which I have done, which is necessary for UG. I am explaining to you all. Undergraduates need this kind of explanation of classification for Nasya. So it is according to Sharangadhara, Vagbhata, Sushruta and Charaka. Now coming for Charaka, it is of two types according to the mode of action, and second one is according to the administration. Now according to the mode of action, it is of three types: Rechana, Tarpana and Shamana. Now according to the administration, it is of 5 types: Navana, Avapidana, Dvapana, Dhuma and Pratimarsha. And according to Sushruta, it is Shirovirechana, Pradhamana, Avapidana, Nasya and Pratimarsha. Okay, so you can call Nasya as Marsha also. Marsha and Pratimarsha you can call. And Sharangdhara, it is the most easiest one, Marsha and Pratimarsha. Vagbhata, he explained Virechana, Brahmana and Shamana. See, if you do not remember any of these things, you can remember one single thing. For Anjana, the most easiest way you can remember, easiest type you can remember is according to Vagbhata, that is Saviranjana and Rasanjana. In the same time, Sharangadhara, you can mention Marsha and Pratimarsha. If you do not remember anything for exams and you have to mention these types at any cost, then you can write about it. Now this one literally you people have to sit and by heart and form a story about it. Each and every type in Nasya is said according to the dosha predominance and to contract the doshas. That you can sit, open your classics. This is the homework you people have to do. I cannot help with it, because the basics which you have to write about Dinacharya procedures when they ask you for 10 marks or Nasya for 5 marks, these are the things you have to mention. Now for 10 marks you can write the superficial concepts like this, but if they ask you especially Nasya for 5 marks, then you have to explain each and every concept in this. Now do not get confused Panchakarma with Swastha Vritta. Clear? Panchakarma is something different, and you cannot mix that Panchakarma version of explanation in Swastha version of explanations. Clear? Now coming to Pratimarsha Nasya, I am telling you this because Pratimarsha Nasya is used as a Dinacharya procedure. That is why I am explaining you Pratimarsha Nasya. Now Pratimarsho Bhaved Sneho Nirdosha Ubhayardhakrit. Clear? Now you can give Ubhayardhakrit. You can give for any purposes. That is, you can give it in the Sneha form, and it is devoid of any doshas, and also you can give especially every day in your day-to-day life. That is, you can give any time. This is what they are explaining about Pratimarsha Nasya. Tataha Snehangulam Dadyat Pratirnishi Cha Sarvada. So you can give it at any time. You can give Prata, or you can give it during the Nishi, or you can give it Sarvada at any time. Clear? Now what is Snehangulam Dadyat? Snehanguli. What is Snehanguli? Now Snehanguli is something where you have to keep the anguli, dip the anguli, and you have to drop the drop in each nostril, that is Snehangulam. Clear? What is Pratimarsha Kala? There is some 14 kalas that are explained as Pratimarsha Kala. After sleep, after you brushed your teeth, while going out, and after exercise, after sexual intercourse, when you're tired due to walking, and after micturition, after defecation, after kavala, after anjana, after food, after emesis, after day sleep, and evening time also. That means almost all you can give Pratimarsha Nasya at any time whenever you need. Now remember, when you do any work, or when you perform any, like before performing any work or after the performance of any work, you can give Pratimarsha Nasya. That is what they are mentioning about this Kala. Clear? Now indications is, what are the indications that are mentioned? Now indications that are mentioned are Urdhva Jatrugata Rogas. You all know it. It is very much special for Urdhva Jatrugata Rogas. Khalitya and Palitya, Manyastamba, Shirashula, Ardita, Vandyatva, Pratishaya and Ardhava Betaka. Especially they are mentioned. Clear? Now according to the Nasya type, I divided it into a best table here. Now Hina, Madhyama and Uttama Matras we can take into consideration, and according to the type. Okay, we can mention these all things, like Snehana we can give Hina Matra of 8, Madhyama 32 and Uttama is 64. Rechana we can give 4, 6 and 8. Avapedana 4, 6 and 8. Pratimarsha 2, 2 and 2. Marsha 6, 8 and 10. And Bhavana, it is what, 25 mg and 3 gram, because it is Churna. Clear? You do not have Madhyama things and all. You will have either Hina and more, like Uttama Matras. Clear? Now what about the classification of the Nasya, Yogyas, Ayogyas and Samyak Yoga Lakshanas? Clear? Samyak Yoga is always like, he'll have Shiro Laghava, person will feel very much light. He'll have Sukha Swapna, that is he'll sleep very good. Vikaropashamna, all the diseases will be cleared. Shuddhindriya will be present, and Mana Sukham. Clear? You will have that mental peace of mind. Now when it goes for Ati Yoga, now what happens? It will be Kapha Prakopa will be there, Praseka will be present, okay, and Shirogaura Praseka is having more salivation. Shirogaurava, like heaviness of head. Indriya Aswasthata, like you will feel very much tired, you will not be able to do that Mandatva will be present. Clear? And you will have Murcha kind of thing, like you will feel giddy, like you will tell sometimes, like when you consume some medicines or something like that, if it becomes overdose, you will feel glimpsy or like gloomy. You will tell that gloomy thing, no, that will happen here. Not exactly Murcha thing, you can tell that particular thing compared to gloomy. Clear? Now Ayoga Lakshana, like Ayoga generally Vata Vaigunyam, because when you keep less Nasya. Now what happens there? Vata Vaigunyam will be there, and Rukshendriyas will be present, and Roga Shanti. So obviously the Roga will not get cleared, or it will get cleared. It will be like something totally disturbed. Now this is all about, it's nothing difficult to remember, because it's very much easier concept. All the thing you have to do it, you concentrate a little bit. When you study it loud and try to write it on a paper, so that your mind will grasp it much more easily. And whatever doubts you have, you can write down in the comment box, and you can give me suggestions also. I hope I made you people understand it. Thank you all. I'll come next time with a beautiful motivational video along with the continuation of the Dinacharya Adhyaya.